folks, welcome back to the neighborhood. I'm Blaine, one of your hosts around the neighborhood here, and today I have a very special guest. I have had the privilege over the last 3 or 4 years to talk with some pretty special folks, and I tell you, I've been working with this guy here ever since coming into Delta, and I never realized just how I'm use an old time term, how really neat this guy is. And I don't want to waste any time, but we'll jump right in. This is Jay Finks. He's a medic here at Delta. Hello. And has been an inspiration to a lot of people. And I don't want to give his story away, but he has an incredible story that would have sidelined most folks. And Jay has taken what has happened in his life and has turned it around and is thriving. And I don't want to take a lot from you, but Jay, it is great to have you here with the neighborhood.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well,
it's a pleasure to be here.
So let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit of history. You're a medic here at Delta.
I am.
How long have you been here?
I've been a paramedic here since the spring of '02.
Oh my!
So almost gonna be 23 years.
Sure.
Come this spring.
Oh my word!
So
that's amazing. You're almost a dinosaur. Not there yet.
Not there yet.
But you're almost there. So that in itself is wonderful. The piece that ties in with that is what you do outside.
Well, since for the last gonna be 6 years in January. I've been taking a class at Heward's Dojo over in Winslow. I am studying martial arts, and I have, made it a lot further than I had originally thought I would be. My ultimate goal is to earn my black belt.
Wow.
Which again, I'm not quite there yet. I've still got another couple of steps to make before I get there. But I've made progress in ways that I couldn't even imagine.
Wow.
So
that's terrific in and of itself. Now, there has been something that has happened. Life has happened to you.
Life indeed has happened.
As a paramedic, along with just normal stuff that happens to us humans that have a tendency to set us back.
Yeah.
For periods of time, but you had a catastrophic event.
I did. So, when was it? Well, after a number of years doing the work that we do, I've had a rather major back injury. Over time, I developed what's called spinal stenosis, and it was rather scary, actually. Sure. It almost ended my career. In May of 2023, I came to the conclusion that we needed to have surgery. Wow. So I had back surgery in May of 23. Multiple lumbar spine. Had what is referred to as laminectomies, more than one, several actually. And so I've been recovering from that, but I am back on the truck. I am back in the dojo, and it's, I recognize I'll be 53 next week. I recognize that I am no longer, 25 or 30 years
Sure.
old. I don't bounce back the way that I used to.
Nope.
And I will never be the young man that I was.
Sure.
So, I certainly recognize my own limitations. But I have found that if I don't continue working, if I don't continue working out in the dojo and learning and growing, that I'm gonna freeze up. I'm going to a couple of the big positive takeaways that I have from working in the dojo is my flexibility and my balance, again, which I'm still working on.
Sure.
But I found that those help me so much in what I do at work, in just working around the house, that sort of thing. That staying that active and that well, I'm not sure what else the word I'm looking for, but staying active has allowed me to continue to do what I do and what I love.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
That's amazing. So I want to nothing that we do as humans is done in a vacuum. Everything ties together. So looking at your experience as a medic, and then the work that you have done over the last 6 years in the dojo, there's more to that type of work than just learning the moves.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
There is now, and I know very little about it, but I know enough to be moderately dangerous.
Okay.
So I know that there's a lot of inner strength that has to happen in order to start making your way up. Now you're only a few levels away from being a black belt, which is like
correct. Yeah, I've got two more levels to go before I test for black belt.
So that's more than just if you forgive me, I'm gonna dumb it down to me. That's more than just monkey skills.
Well, yeah, it is no longer. One of my senseis commented to me that I am no longer in the beginner belts.
Right.
I am now in the intermediate level belts, and honestly, one of the things that is reinforced to us is the idea that black belt is not the end goal.
Sure.
It is honestly the beginning. It is once you have achieved black belt, all that is an indication that you understand the basics.
Sure.
Now that you've got that solid base, then the true learning can begin.
Sure.
So I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there.
So getting up to that point, and so you're past the basics and into this intermediate level with an eye on the black belt and beyond. How did that training in the dojo and that internal fortitude to continue on, because it takes some work.
It does.
It's
dedication.
It's dedication. How did you apply that to your recovery?
Oh, goodness. Well, I think my work in the dojo honestly has been just a reflection, and I certainly don't mean to toot my own horn.
Oh, this is about you tooting your horn.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all about Jay.
My work and dedication in the dojo and to the dojo has been a reflection of, I think, my dedication to things that I love, things that speak to me. My work as a paramedic, my work in EMS in general, has been a dedication of love.
Sure.
This speaks to me. This calls to me. Likewise, being in the dojo speaks to me and calls to me. And I, there are those that won't necessarily understand or won't necessarily follow this, or perhaps it doesn't speak to them in the same way it speaks to me. But for whatever reason, the martial arts has it's something I find that I can't seem to give it up.
No.
Because it is growth. It is there are levels to it. There is just the purely physical aspect of it. The punches, the kicks, the throws, all of that sort of thing. That's the physical aspect of it. But to me, there is a mental and almost a spiritual aspect to it.
Yeah.
In that, not only do I learn the physical and practice the physical over and over again, I study the history of it. So that's the mental aspect to it. There is also a spiritual aspect to it, I find. When I put on my gi and I step into the dojo for practice, and take it for what it's worth. If it doesn't work for other people that way, that's fine.
Sure.
But for me, when I step into the dojo, it is a spiritual place. It is the rest of the world drops away, and I don't have to worry about bills I have to pay or places I have to be, or I can focus on who I am as an individual. Well, I'm kind of not sure where I'm going with all of this, but it helps me find balance in my life.
Sure.
And I can only thank my fellow classmates, my senseis, my teachers, for helping me find that balance within.
Sure.
It has helped me grow as an individual. It has helped me in terms of self-confidence. So I have said for years, I have always said, and again, take it for what it's worth, but that balance is the key.
Sure.
Because if you get too focused in any one area, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional, whatever, it unbalances you, and then things start to fall apart in life.
Right.
If you can maintain that balance as you are moving forward, it helps me anyway.
Sure.
Be a better person, be a better man, be a better husband, be a better medic, be a better friend.
Sure.
And that balance is the key.
And as you're telling me this now, we've chatted. We've been working on this on this chat here for the last 6 months or so. So we've had opportunities to talk, but that initial conversation gave growth to our sitting down and chatting here. But since our initial talk, you've had other things happen. You've had and you have been on the truck. There was a period of time when you weren't.
Yep.
That as we chatted, that was driving you batty.
Yep.
Because you weren't able to get into either place, whether it was the dojo or whether it was work. But then you used that internal fortitude that you had, that growth that you had already developed up to that point by working in the dojo, to help you through that time, and then coming back into work. How do you see that coming into play? That growth that you experience in the dojo, that I'll say it kind of forces you to have that growth in order to be able to move up in the belt. It's just a continued physical growth, the spiritual growth, the mental growth, the emotional growth that goes with that. We see stuff. We see a lot of stuff.
We do indeed.
Then, and whether the dispatch is true to what we find or not, we know that any one of the calls that we have that sound like it's going to be a nothing call turns into an everything call,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
No, absolutely.
Because we prepare for the worst on the way to the call, and we get there and it's like, whew, okay, we dodged the bullet on that one.
Yeah.
Or it's worse than what they actually sound like. And those can send us for a loop.
Absolutely.
How do you use that you have learned in that outside life to process what you see? So I say outside life, the civilian life versus the paramedic life. Okay?
Right.
Paramilitary talk there. How do you combine those two things together?
Oh, goodness. Okay. So one of the things that we are preparing to do in the dojo is ready ourselves for whatever may come at us, whether it's in the world or in work or in civilian life or whatever. So there's a principle. There's a principle called. Forgive me if I mispronounce this,
Okay.
but I believe it's pronounced zanshin, which is constant awareness.
Yeah.
So while I've been a paramedic for a number of years, and I am aware of the world around me when I'm at work, and always being one of the principles of EMS that we're first taught in our EMT class, in our basic EMT class, is safety to the rescuer first.
Right.
If we can't, if we put ourselves in danger, or we get injured as providers, we can't help anybody else.
Right.
That constant awareness that is taught in the dojo is kind of a expansion of that. Not just while I'm at work, not just while I'm on an emergency scene, should I be aware of the world around me. So I've noticed in a number of instances, honestly, since working at the dojo, that there's a part of me in my subconscious that is aware of things, of possible dangers, possible situations that may be developing around me, that has been sharpened in the dojo, even more so than what I've been doing as a paramedic.
Sure.
So that awareness of situations as they develop, as they what's the term I'm looking for? As they not necessarily worsen, but oh goodness. All right. So situations like I will be at a restaurant with a friend. We'll be sitting at a bar or something like that, and having dinner or appetizers or something like that. I am much more aware of people as they move around me.
Sure.
People, and so situations that are developing, things I hear in the background, so that has helped me quite a bit in, again, not just my work life, but in my private life. And I found that and now that I think about it, honestly, it's not just awareness of my surroundings, but it's an awareness of internal workings as well.
Sure.
My my own emotions, thoughts, that sort of thing, I'm aware of ways that I'm moving, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually as well.
Sure.
That I wasn't before I started working in the dojo, and that has helped me, I think, develop a self awareness, not only a situational awareness, but a self awareness that I didn't have before I started.
Sure. That's and that is I can see how that can apply. Getting into a situation with a patient, whether it's potential physical or it's medical or emotional, whatever. It definitely has. I was told once by a mentor of mine that we will always leave a piece of us with the patient, and the patient will always leave a piece of them with us.
Yeah.
So as that interaction is going on, there have been times when I have felt that that welling up of emotion, whether it is empathizing with the patient and I want to sit and cry with them,
Yeah.
or they're not doing what I need to do, and I'm getting angry with
Yeah,
them,
worked up, yeah.
or I'm seeing old boogers, they're circling the drain.
Yeah.
What have I got to do to retard or stop that process?
Right.
So all that stuff is coming together, and so it for me, I'm able to manage that because of my spiritual background.
Yeah.
Okay, being a pastor, that helps me. You have that internal training, if you will, that comes from. The martial arts originally came from defense. I'm assuming you know more about it than I do, but you need to keep yourself in check inside,
Yeah.
even though you may be, someone's coming at you and it's the whole fight or flight. You're scared, but you're going to stand your ground, and you know what you got to do. You got to keep your head clear and those emotions in check. So I can see how that stability that you have learned in working your way up through the martial arts, how you can apply that and with whatever call
Absolutely.
that comes in to keep yourself.
Absolutely.
So being aware and knowing that you have that in your toolbox
Yeah.
to be able to help you process that.
Not only that, but one of the things that I do want to mention is, especially since, and there have been other events that have occurred over the last several years. One of the reasons that I got into the dojo was I was trying to find that balance. After my father passed away, in the tail end of 2018, I started at the dojo. That was the death of my father. Honestly, was one of the reasons that I started at the dojo, and the balance that I sought was definitely helped by my work at the dojo, but honestly. The counseling that I have had, I do see a counselor on a fairly regular basis.
Very good.
Because of, again, issues that have gone on in my civilian life, as well as calls that I've had in my career, things like that. So not only do I find balance at the dojo, but the message that I want to send, that reaching out for help, whether it's talking with you, whether it's or other colleagues, but you, a big part of that is in your role as my friend, as our chaplain, or the counselor that I see, has been so incredibly helpful, and I think the stigma that had been seen, oh, we're manly men, we don't need
Right.
that sort of thing.
Oh, yes.
That stigma is going away and is being broken, but it still holds on in some people's minds, and I want to let people know that it's okay to seek that help, and that self-awareness that okay, I'm there was a time in my life where I had to admit I needed help. I couldn't do it alone, and so reaching out for that assistance, whether it's a counselor, whether it's a friend, whether it's a chaplain, whether it's whoever, reach out. Help is there, and that's a message I definitely want to send.
Well, that is, I couldn't say it any different, and I am thrilled that you have realized that that it's okay, to reach out, and it's through those experiences that you've had, not only since your dad passed, but experiences prior to that, but that experience with your dad passing, getting into the dojo to help you process that, has allowed you to continue to grow and get to a point where you realize, I am okay. It is not weak to reach out for help.
Not at all.
It's strength to reach out for help.
Absolutely.
And just to be able to make you stronger. And you learned that. And like I said at the beginning, we don't do things in a vacuum. It's not just home life. It's not just the dojo. It's not just work. It's not just dealing or loving on grandkids or being outside. It's not just hunt. It all works together. And you have allowed that to work in your life such that you have been able to come back to work. Your issues with your back have pretty much resolved, and you're growing.
Still working on it.
Still working, sure. But that's the thing of it. You're still working on it.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't let it sideline you, and so many times, whether it's an injury or an emotional injury, or it's that call that we had been on, that can really wreak havoc with us, and could potentially be our last call, because we don't know how to manage it, or it was such that it just totally wrecked us emotionally. You have put things in place to help you process through that. Not
absolutely.
To say that there's never going to be a bad call,
Right.
that you're going to come knocking on my door, or you're going to go to your counselor and you're going to be just a puddle of goo, because it's been such a bad call. But you've got the strength to recognize, okay, I need some help, and I don't need to let this sideline me.
Right.
Your back could have. The death of your dad could have. And I know just recently the passing of your mom could have. Any of those things. But then you put them all together and it's like, wow, this guy's got his crap may not be all together, but he's working on it, and he's not going to give up. And recognizing that as someone that has talked to you, that's amazing. That is and it's so encouraging, and that's why I wanted to talk with Jay, so you folks could hear this story as well and understand that we all have aspects of our lives that we that are awful.
Yeah.
They just are awful. But it doesn't have to stop us. There is hope. There is and there's strength in others. There's strength in having
lean on your
friendships.
colleagues, lean on your friends. That's what a friendship is for.
That's right.
That's, you know, or your spouse or whoever
Sure.
is there for you. You know, mutual support is so important.
Right.
So
That's awesome, Jay. This is terrific. You are an inspiration.
Well,
I
thank
hope
you.
other folks can see that as well, and can gain inspiration from you, that they don't have to give up. They don't have to be sidelined, as I've said, that they can continue on and can strive with work.
you know,
Nothing's going to be handed. Nothing was handed to you. Your work after your back injury was not a cakewalk. I remember seeing you when you started coming back into work, just to do some light duty stuff, or just to stop in and say hi. You were in rough shape,
yeah,
but here you are. You're on the truck. You're at the dojo working and enjoying life.
absolutely.
So, thank you so much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Thank you for willing to share, and thank you for the message that
Absolutely.
you have given. You are an inspiration.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us around the neighborhood. I certainly do appreciate your time and willingness to stop. Join us again next time when we're out and about in the neighborhood chatting with folks. As always, make good decisions. God bless, and have a blessed Christmas. Take care.
Take care.